what they do, sometimes politicians will do a little bit of acting or make lines for movies, and the actors and stuff will be able to have some kind of a say in world politics slightly. Like, it's like a trade-off. Like, it's very boring there. They don't have anything to do. Now, they all use me as, like, the catalyst for, like, this. They call it the show sometimes. They call it the show. There's nothing to do there. After you've had sex, and there's all the sex stuff, and you do the fighting stuff, the death sports stuff, there's nothing else to do. Like, what do you do after that? Go have some more sex or something? There's just nothing to do. So they said that I'm like the entertainer there, and it's like the most amazing thing how I made a song out of thin air and nothing to keep myself from getting hurt. Like, at first, the songs came pretty easy, but then they started to trickle down, so they started to threaten me. And then that worked, so I made more songs, and then they started to torture me, torture clones of me. And so that worked too, to get them to stop torturing me. I'd sing songs, and they just kept on doing that for years and years and years. And it messed up my heart. I didn't even know what was going on in real life.
Donald, can I just ask a question here? One of the things that a lot of us believe is that, obviously that is what you're saying, it fits in with what you're saying, is that a lot of the songs that are produced by a lot of the mainstream singers are done for a reason by the Illuminati to kind of get a message out but not get a message out. So are you saying that that's what you've been doing for them, basically, yeah?
Yeah, well, there's a lot to it. There's like some inner politics there, like, they all know, they all want to hint at it to get it shut down, but they don't want to stick their own neck out because people have been killed before. So they're using me because in the past I agreed to do their whole play Jesus thing, but it was a deception on my part because I just wanted to get unmemory repressed so I could tell the world and get this stuff shut down.
Donald, at this point, can I just introduce Dave that I think you've spoken to on Facebook anyway, Dave Lloyd. Wants to say hi to you.
Yep.
Hi, mate. Can I just ask him a question, Lisa, please?
Yeah, go ahead, Dave, yeah.
Yeah, I can't get my head around this. So what you're saying is, if somebody's in bed and they're in REM, rapid eye movement sleep, they don't have to go to the cloning station. There's something at the cloning station that clicks on and says he or she is asleep, and that consciousness is transferred to the clone. Is that it, Donald?
That's exactly it. And I'm not sure if a head chip implant is required.
With the consciousness on it?
Yeah, well, no, the consciousness is borrowed, because when the person wakes up in their real body, the clone drops limp. It drops limp to the floor. So they always try to stay sitting in the stance, because different people have dropped limp, like limp noodle, just right to the floor, and they break their elbows, they crack their head off the concrete floor.
So it's just like Avatar, the film, then, isn't it?
It is exactly like Avatar, and even before Avatar came out, like, I was telling people about this stuff, and they put that Avatar film based on Mark II REM clone.
Now, Donald, would the people who's asleep, who's been cloned, would they be aware of what was going on, or would they just have an ordinary night's sleep?
They would have a sleep where they wouldn't remember their dream. They would think, oh, I just can't remember what I dreamt last night. And it's like that for everyone that happens with. Now, they have the option, the powers that be have the option of allowing you to remember this or not. But once they do the awakening thing on you, they can't keep the memory from you anymore. It's you get them every time. Every time they activate you, you will remember it the next day. And it's not like remembering a dream, and it's not like feeling like a dream. It's just normal as normal. They can give you an injection to make you feel fuzzy, so it'll feel like a dream, but it's just normal. It's normal. You walk around and slap yourself in the face. It's just normal. It's crazy. They let me do a bunch of stuff there. Like, they turned my pain sensors off, let me stab myself up. It's kind of interesting. Yeah, they thought I was an ally.
I wonder how much these clones actually cost to make. It must cost thousands and thousands of dollars. I know money's probably an object.
No, the thing is, they don't cost that much. I'll tell you, it sounds like really odd. It's mostly just maintenance. The thing is, what they used to do, they say they can do it with blood now, but they used to have to get a tissue sample from the person, and they used to have to agitate the tissue, and agitate it, and then the white blood cells start to heal, and it just heals. it just goes and goes and heals and heals and heals until it's a fully formed thing, and it just grows a whole nother you. And then they just tested with it, and then they figured out how to put the consciousness into the clone. Man. So, yeah, it's really far out tech that they got. You wouldn't think they'd have this for like another 500 years.
Okay, Donald, one of the things I just wanted to say to you was that a lot of people I know have asked you why you're still here, basically, given on a few of the things that you've said, and you have actually said that because of what you're saying, because you're saying now that they can actually, because if they've got a clone of you, they can actually apply an electronic current to the head of the clone that will kill the person, yeah? And you're saying that because you're actually telling people this is why they haven't done anything to you, because if they did it to you, it'd be too obvious now, yeah?
That was what I thought at first, but I found out within the last year that they don't want to kill me. Well, first they wanted me to play fake Jesus for them, right?
Yeah.
And I could never do something like that, deceive the world, play with people's religion and things. Like, I don't tell people I'm Jesus or anything. Like, I think that's kind of silly. But then they're talking to me about things and prophecies. They said that the Nostradamus picture book has a picture of me in it, and it says that the next Messiah's initials will be DM, and it's a reference in it to King Dawn in the Nostradamus prophecy. So they're all like, there's a bunch of super religious zealots there that say, oh wow, we thought we were going to use him to be fake Jesus, but it turns out he's real Jesus, and if we kill him, it says in the prophecies that God will destroy the earth and this and that. And so they're using that as an excuse to keep me alive, because they want it exposed so that the populace will force them to shut it down.
Sure.
Because there's some countries don't want to shut it down. They want to keep it going, but a lot of countries don't want to participate anymore.
Okay, okay. So just so people are clear here, you're saying that at these so-called cloning centres, many of the leaders, if not all, of the G20 countries are actually going to these cloning centres, and we're talking a lot of people here, and leaders from also other countries. They go into what are called these clone gatherings and parties at these cloning centres, and we're talking about people like Queen Elizabeth, we're talking about Vladimir Putin. You're also saying that Gaddafi is not dead, and the one that we saw was killed was actually a clone. Do you want to just talk a bit on that for us, if you could?
Yep. They, well, I've helped them make movies and a lot of songs and stuff, so, and successfully too. So, they wanted me to help them set up the whole thing. How would it look believable? I even told them, because I walked them through a few things before, like I had to, when I was memory repressed and stuff, and to keep from getting stabbed and stuff, because it messes up your heart in real life, like if they sporadically torture you. Constant will kill you with aneurysm, but anyway, yeah, all the people around Gaddafi there were in on it. Even the phone shaking around.
Okay.
Like, the cell phone camera shaking around, that was all that hustle and bustle, that was all manufactured. They all think they're great actors and stuff. Gaddafi wanted to go down, he didn't want to look like Saddam Hussein, he said, in getting his mouth opened up and walking around in his underwear and stuff. He said he wanted to go out, like, cool looking. So the blood on the face and everything was a little cut at his hairline. And they put it all over his face, on the side there, like, it was all set up. It was all a big stage play, and you never find his body now. It's supposedly buried secretly. That's because if you dig up his body, take a test on it, and you'll be able to tell it's a clone. Like, they're easy to tell the difference between the cells are different somehow. There's a bunch of different kinds of clones too, like I don't know a lot about the higher up clones, because I'm usually just the Mark II kind.
Sure.
But yeah.
Okay. So again, what you're saying here, again, what I've listened to in interviews is that basically a lot of celebrities, if not all, I don't know, a lot of celebrities and people in the public eye are actually all involved in this. They're all going to these cloning centres. A lot of them sell their so-called clones for the sake of fame and fortune. And these clones are then in these cloning centres, and then we get these so-called people in power, as you've described as these fat, sort of ugly people going to these cloning centres that are actually using the clones of these so-called celebrities for sex and whatever else.
Yep.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah, and all kinds of weird things.
Okay. And do you want to tell us a bit about Britney Spears, because you said that she's done a video on this?
Oh yeah. Well, I talked to Britney Spears ever since she was starting her career. Actually, she was being brought there when she was in the Mickey Mouse Club, even. And yeah, I helped her make her songs. Oops, Did It Again and everything. And she put she let me put hints in the songs with lines and stuff. There's so many, and now when I put them out there, it's like, it sounds like it could just be a coincidence. A lot of coincidences, but it feels like such a big waste of time, because sometimes putting these hints in the songs, they'd get pretty mad at me, but they'd do it anyway.
Sure.
Just to flaunt their power. But now I'm bringing them all up, and I even got people say clones and stuff in songs, and Furtado, I got her to say space is cloning in what song is it that Say It Right, it's called. That Say It Right song by Nelly Furtado, that's all about disclosing Illuminati stuff. They wanted me to talk about them.
Okay, well, we have heard that a lot of the films and the music out there, and even when you hear the 80s stuff now, when you listen to it back, a lot of it sounds like it's all there to give us a message in big time. And you talked about, and I'm going to play this at the start of my show when I do your interview next week, you talked about Heart, a song that Heart did, yeah?
Yep. There's all kinds of them back then. They were all coming at me back then after I'd made the first 20, then they all started coming. There's numerous cloning stations, and certain people go to certain ones in different areas. There's a couple for every state.
You're listening to Critical Mass Radio. Now, it's our turn.
Right, guys, we did actually lose connection at that point with Donald, and I thought that was a natural break anyway, so I'm going to play a quick tune. There's loads more to go in this, and I say it's going to take at least one more show to get all of this out, maybe even two more, if I can spread it that far, if you want to hear it for two more shows. But it's amazing information, I think, that's certainly worthwhile thinking about, if nothing else, and I, for one, can well believe that this could so be true. But anyway, more from Donald coming up right after this. I just wanted to say, you've obviously mentioned, we're in the UK here, this station is broadcasting from the UK, and you've mentioned Queen Elizabeth a lot. I just wondered if you could actually just tell us about the involvement of Queen Elizabeth in all of this, as far as you're concerned.
Yep. Well, as I said, just before we got cut off there,
sure,
she used me for a soapbox there. See, without me there, she has really no reason to speak. She's what, 87 years old now. She's in a sex slavery place. Nobody wants to see her in her bloomers. You know what I mean? It's like hang the teddy up. It's time to go. But she sits up there and she's like, yes, and now we're going to bring out Dawn, and we're going to do this and that and the other thing. And but if I'm not there, all that she has is she can stand up and do her silly little wave where she turns her hand sideways there. That's all she has. Other than that, she has no reason to talk there. Nobody wants to hear her. She's disgusting. She's one of the worst people there. She's one of the prime evils. Charles is terrible. Camilla's terrible. William, there's something wrong with William. And Harry is scared. Weird.
So when you're saying they're there, Donald, where's there? Are you saying that they're coming to these particular cloning stations, each of them, all of them? Is that what you're saying?
Yep. Elizabeth stays medicated to try to stay asleep a lot.
Okay.
Because she likes being cloned better than being real. Oh my God, she's so disgusting. I don't know if they still do, but you might have heard about these gold-foiled babies that people are talking about, that they found. Some British intelligence agent found them, or they found some on a British intelligence agent. It's a Luciferian thing. They roast babies with spices and all kinds of stuff, and they wrap it in the gold foil because they got this thing about gold. I'll get into that another time, but they literally eat the things. They don't They're not gutted or anything, so the guts are still inside, the brain's still in the head.